Welcome to Today with Tammy. It's my favorite time of year, fall, and I'm going to take you on a tour around the county so you can take a look at some of the wonderful farms on the Culpeper Farm Tour. Folks, I'm here at the CFC Farm and Home Center, and I have Donna Dowell with me. Now, Donna, tell me a little bit about what's going on here today at the farm show.
We're doing demos with our horses to show natural horsemanship, things that you can do with your horse without halters or lead lines, and just by your relationship you have with them, they follow and mirror what you're doing and what you're asking, and they do it willingly and playfully.
Okay, if only humans would cooperate that well, right?
Yes.
And who do you have here, Donna?
I have Charlie. He's 19 years old. He's a quarter horse Arabian. He's just the love of my life, in addition to my husband, who is very supportive. And I took my first riding lesson when I was 56. So he's my first horse, and I'm 65 now and loving it, and just can't wait for what we're going to be doing next.
Well, I think that tells us that horseback riding or enjoying horses is something you can do at all ages.
It's ageless. It really is.
Now, what's the background on Charlie here?
He belonged to a friend of mine, and I asked him, could I please buy him?
He's gorgeous.
He's done a lot of trail riding, but I've taught him Pirelli, natural horsemanship, and it's just another level of riding. And we have playgrounds that are at my daughter-in-law's farm, and we play all kinds of things like jousting and doing jumps, standing on pedestals, just things that they enjoy, and it's just for fun.
Now, would you mind explaining to the viewers exactly what natural horsemanship means, sort of in layman's terms, so they can kind of see what you're talking about?
Well, I can only tell them what my experience is. It could be a different definition for others, but it's building such an intimate relationship with my horse that he desires to be with me and to do what I ask him to do. And this is called a carrot stick because it's not a whip. You just this is used for directing him. It's like an extension of my hand. Like, I want you to go this way. And that's how he's directed. And it's not anything forceful or unwilling. It's just it's being in harmony with me and him knowing me and I knowing him. And we spend lots of hours together. Sometimes it's just hanging out at the barn and just sitting in a chair and just letting him graze with me. That's a part of building a relationship.
Basically, you have to build the trust.
The trust and the confidence. And so he totally trusts me. I can take this and do a helicopter over top of his head and he won't even move because he knows I'm not going to hurt him. So she's just whipping up some air for me right now.
So when you build that trust and you're using minimal, I guess, equipment is what
minimal aids.
Minimum aids. Then that makes it safer when you're out on the trail riding because they trust you and the two of you become one.
Yes, that's the key. That's the key because he's going to trust me in the round pen, he's going to trust me in the field, he's going to trust me on the trail because we built that relationship.
Well, hopefully we can catch a demonstration.
All right. We can do a couple of things. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I have Bonnie Williams with me here from Majestic Meadow Stables. Bonnie, tell me a little bit about what you have going on as far as the demonstration here today.
Well, what we're doing is we're demonstrating the benefits of natural horsemanship. Basically, what natural horsemanship is working with the horse's psychology and herd behavior in order to help train them. So instead of having a horse work under our demands as if we were a king or a monarch, expecting a slave to perform for us, is very much being a benevolent leader and having a partnership with your horse. You get a better response, you get a steady response, and one that lasts a lifetime, along with a good bond and a relationship with your horse where your horse wants to be with you. A lot of times you might hear people saying, oh, it took me 20 minutes to catch my horse in the field.
That would be me.
Our horses run to the gate. My house is probably about 200 feet away from my mare's paddock, and when I open my back door, her head comes right up. She looks at me, she nickers, and she goes to the gate.
Well, that's certainly what we all need and want, right?
Yeah, I think so. I would hope so, yes.
Now, I understand you have a rescue here?
We do. It's actually Shammy, the little buckskin in the background. He is a nurse mare foal, which means that his mother was made pregnant so that she could birth this foal This foal was then literally thrown away, put into a field with nothing done to it. The mother was shipped off to a high-dollar show barn or a thoroughbred racing barn, where a thoroughbred mare had delivered a very good baby. But they want to get that thoroughbred or that show horse back into the ring to make money for the family. So her baby gets taken away the day it's born, and it gets put onto the surrogate mother. So there are rescues around, such as Eagle Hill, which is right down in Fredericksburg, that do take in these PMU foals. There's also one up in Rixieville. That's where this particular horse came from. So the breeding isn't as important. He is a thoroughbred cross of some kind. But what's more important is that now he's got a home and he's got a life.
That's wonderful. And I would love it if one of you could maybe give us a demonstration for the show.
I think we can certainly do that. I believe that maybe Donna or Rhonda might be ready to do a little demonstration.
Thank you very much.
This is called a Liberty session. This is a higher level of natural horsemanship activity where we actually allow the horse to follow us, where the horse wants to join up with us. We're not making this horse be with Donna. This horse wants to be with Donna. Donna is his herd leader. They're a herd of 2. And she is now asking for that horse to back up. And if you saw in her body, she was actually moving backwards, moving her arms backwards, inviting the horse to back up into her. Now, everyone always says, never get behind a horse. Well, that's not true. You can see that as she's trotting and jumping, he is also trotting and jumping. She's going to bring him around and invite him in. It's called a draw. And he's working on it. There he goes. And now she's going to play friendly. She's using that string much like another horse would use a tail. And it would swat flies away. And what she's doing now is called extreme friendly. And you can see that Charlie's licking his lips. He's listening to her because his ears are focused on her. And he is totally within trust. There is a trust and a relationship bond that this whole entire series builds to. Now she's going to give him a reward. Horses don't learn through an activity. Horses don't learn through pain. Horses learn through release of an activity. They don't even learn so much through reward, but we like to reward because we're people. And we like to say, good job. Now what she's doing is actually called Stick to Me. It's a game that we like to play. And we will walk and we will stop and we will back up. We'll allow our horses to be curious about objects. A lot of people will say, don't go near that garbage pail, don't sniff that barrel. Well, no, we want our horses to do this because then when we get out in the woods or we get into a show ring and a plastic Walmart bag blows across the arena, our horses don't get scared, they don't rear up, they don't miss their jumps, they don't miss their marks. They know it. And it's all done through natural horsemanship using the horse's personality, our body energy, and our body language, just like we do the biomechanics riding. What we do in our body, on the ground, or in the saddle, the horse will respond to. He's been bowing all day.
Look at that. How gorgeous. Okay, I understand you have a new adventure going.
Yes, I do. I've just started branching out on my own and becoming a clinician. I can do workshops, seminars, and lectures on horse behavior, saddle fitting. I have a little thing I like to do. It's called Dressage Made Easy and Win, because instructors like to make things difficult and really is very simple and very easy. And you get a much better relationship with your horse because you're not constantly nagging upon your horse. And it's using the biomechanics of your body, the muscle and the skeletal structure of your body, in order to get the horse to perform certain high-level maneuvers. And it's done with all low-impact, low-resistant activities and exercises.
Now, is there anything you can give me an example of right now, maybe with balance? Or?
Absolutely there is. There are several different things that I actually have set up. I've got scales over here where you can stand on the scales and see if you have one leg that's weighted heavier than the other, and most people do. Most people have one ear a little lower than the other. But just something as simple as turning. A lot of people will say, well, you turn the nose and then you look and then you put leg on and then you pull the rein. And really, if you just watch my body structure, using biomechanics, I'll take a riding position and I'm going to turn to my left and automatically my body goes. This rein gives so the horse's nose can bend in. This rein pulls back. This knee goes on to the horse's side. And the horse will very gently make a nice bend around the circle. And it's just simple things like that, doing in your body, If I want my horse to passage, my horse can have nothing more than a string around her neck. I can be on her bareback, and all I do is I start to passage in my body, and she will follow up with a passage.
Now, for the viewers, what does passage mean?
It is a dressage term, and it means dressage is a very high-level form of riding that actually was started back during the Napoleonic years and the Roman and Greek years, where they would teach their horses these high-level movements with their legs to lift up over soldiers' bodies. They would learn to side pass so that they could sword fight and move away from the sword coming into them, and doing things like half passes and pirouettes so that they could spin their horse around and come up behind someone, and it was all about soldiers fighting, and it's very precise.
You know, that is so interesting because my daughter's in 4-H, and we're always doing, they do demonstrations and research on horses and different types of riding. And I've never had it explained that way. It's always the fancy dancing that the horses do. And it all started with war.
It all started with the benefits of war. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, over here, I noticed you have a sign. What's this here going on? Horses with hero. Horses for Heroes. Okay.
It was actually started back in 2006 after the incident of 9/11. A lot of the first responders came out really kind of shell-shocked, and their families were kind of shell-shocked, and it was developed so that they could go and have a therapeutic session with a horse, and the family could come together and have an hour or two of just fun, play, and some riding instruction with a horse so they could come back into the family fold. It has now opened up not just to first responders, but also to any military families or especially those returning from war, because they have a hard time after being on 6-month deployment coming back into the family fold where the woman has been the head of the household. Now the man is expected to take that position back, and he hasn't been there for 6 or 8 months. So they need an activity to bring them and join them together. And horses have a very therapeutic effect on the human and the human mind.
Now, Horses for Heroes, is this at certain farms throughout the area?
It's at certain farms throughout the country. You can go on the website of Horses for Heroes, and the website is actually, the 4 is not spelled out, it is the number 4.com, and you can register, and they will give you a list of barns close by you. So this is countrywide.
That's wonderful information. So it's actually an organization.
Yes, it is. It's a national organization, and we're a member of it. As far as I know, we're one of the only members in the area. And we've had several open houses where we've had a lot of World War II veterans and first responders come out and just have a great day playing with the horses.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing both those pieces of valuable information.
It's been my pleasure, Tammy. It's been wonderful having you out here.
Today